Yeah, welcome back. Derek Allen and Plans Change. Good morning, everybody. Here we are. 7:04. Rosie on his way in soon.
Yes!
Yeah, exactly. Craig Gass, the comedian, should be here soon.
Yes!
That's right. Corey's over there and Saucy's over there.
Hi.
Perry's over there. Hi, Mark Parrish.
Hello. How we doing?
I'm doing great.
Awesome.
Are you excited for hockey season to start?
I am, man. It's funny this time of year. I always start feeling the itch. It gets to August and it's like, yeah, well, golf game hasn't gotten any better. You know, let's get going. Let's get back to work. It's like that because my life's always been around almost like the school year. Like I'm just like the kids. Like I start getting a little anxious this time of year because I more want to get back to work. They're anxious because nobody wants to go back to school.
Yeah, I know, man. But I sure would like to.
Yeah, amen to that.
Just go back and live it all again. It was fun, man. I liked going to school, seeing all my friends. Hated the homework and stuff, so I didn't do it. And that's why I sit here in this chair.
Do you guys think you would do 10 times better knowing what you know now?
Oh, my God.
Or the opposite, right? Because you could argue either way. You could say, well, look, life gets a lot more difficult. Let's not stress about homework. Let's just do a good job. Or you could say, as long as I get that diploma, it doesn't really matter. And maybe you do even less because you realize once you get into the workforce and you hit adulthood, does it really matter? I could argue it either way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear that.
It's easier than you think when you're in it.
Yeah.
But it matters less than you think when you're out of it.
Well said.
Thank you.
Deep.
I mean, the whole growing up thing, I don't really feel like going through again. All
Fair.
that fun stuff, you know. If you really think about all that greatness, I think I've enjoyed being in the professional world a little bit more.
And by the way, when I say it matters less than you think, I don't mean the knowledge or the learning. I just mean specifically the grades. If you get an A versus a B minus, who cares? If you learned it, doesn't matter. Really doesn't matter. Paul, your hands up.
What if you didn't learn it?
Then you might want to do it again.
You're awful.
And you aim for a job in radio.
Sauce, you might want to do the Billy Madison plan and just start back at kindergarten and go all the way through.
That said, look at you, man.
Yeah, see,
You're
proof.
succeeding.
You don't have to do
You
well.
did it.
I didn't do well. Yes!
No, we know.
But
You
you're
and
doing
Zach
well
are
now.
both doing fine.
You're doing great.
Yeah.
Thanks, buddy boy.
Zach still can't do math.
Yeah, you know famous people.
Yeah, and Tom Brady was
I
a
know
sixth-round
Hogshead.
pick, right? Sometimes it works out.
right.
Absolutely.
You're the
I mean,
unicorn. You're
I
the
think
exception, not the rule.
I think we all think you could use some vitamins.
I want to crack open a book once in a while. And
Why would I read now?
no, I know. I don't read either. I mean, I read
love it.
constantly online and I
Hawk
listen to
reads all
stuff,
the
but
time.
I don't read books.
No. Nerds.
I probably
I just want
should.
some candy. Sorry.
God, should I start reading books?
Man, you know nerds were so good, but the box got all wet, you know what I mean? And like it got kind of gross. You had to eat them all at one time.
Has anyone had a Nerds rope? Or
I don't like those.
Gummy
Oh, yeah.
Nerds?
I don't like the
guess
gummy
those are
Kids
great.
love those.
The two flavored nerd boxes back in the day
That's
where
right.
it was grape on one side and what was it,
yes.
strawberry on the other.
Or banana maybe
Yes.
on the other. Wasn't it yellow?
Have any of you had the Nerds gummy clusters?
Yeah, I was going to say the new Nerds
no
clusters.
thanks.
Nikki loves those.
Those look great. Huck,
Those don't
will you
last
buy
long
some?
in the parish household.
Is that right?
Sure.
Are those just nerds gummy clusters or?
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
yeah.
it's what you have before.
Just that.
Nothing else in them?
Nope. Nothing at all.
Yeah, man. Nerds are just straight sugar.
You know what's weird?
So
And this
good.
is
Love them.
odd tangent. You know what's weird about now? Like almost everything is.
Your success?
You can't pause.
Yeah, what are you doing?
that's
You know
the-
what?
you
You know me
can't
better than that.
breathe.
How long have we been doing radio
As soon
together?
as you take a breath.
About 17 years.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Do you know what's odd? And what is something that
No, listen to you try not to pause is
Yeah.
even better.
I really don't. Okay. You know when like everything now, almost everything now has marijuana in it, and you're always like,
I'm sorry, I got to hit it again.
just listen to my story.
You need vitamins.
So I'm playing golf with this guy.
No, you're not. You're sitting in a studio. You
And
okay?
he was like, do you want any of, he's like, do you want any candy? I'm like, candy?
Did he have a van?
No, he was,
It was Rosen, wasn't it?
no. And I'm like, I don't know. Let me see. Because
dear
like
God.
I'm
Right,
just
because
so
you
afraid.
can. Because if there's THC or meth in there, you can see it on the outside of the candy.
I wanted to see the box where it came from.
Amen, brother.
Keep going.
And so I said no.
So a random man offers you candy and you accept.
No. He was my cart partner, and I was like, I'm good because I didn't know. I don't want to do edibles, so I was afraid that if I was like, yeah, I'll have about 8 or 9 Mike and Ikes, and then next thing I know, I'm riding the rails.
Do you think
man.
he would give you anything that's an edible without telling you? Or do you think he's going to Cosby you as a cart partner?
No, I don't think so. But like, people dose people.
Yeah, but do you think somebody at a charity event is
No,
going
it
to
wasn't
dose
a charity event. No.
Who are you
It's
golfing
somebody
with?
I know. It
People
was a
too?
tournament.
So, okay, then even more so. Why would a friend of
No,
yours?
I'm just saying. No, it has nothing
dose
to,
you?
It has nothing to do with that in general. But like, I just don't take other people's candy.
Good policy. Good for you, buddy.
Oh, your dad,
You
Mom, did a great
listened
job.
well.
Well
Yeah.
done,
Yeah.
man.
No
Honestly,
candy from strangers
no.
or friends.
If there is a school in the
especially-
Twin Cities area that can offer him the Billy Madison plan so he can start over, can you go back and do it again?
He doesn't need to. Look at him. He's
Yeah.
succeeding.
Yeah.
Well, Billy
He's
didn't
winning.
need to. Billy was going to inherit all the, hotels?
But he had
Yeah.
to. Didn't he have to go back to school to do that?
He had to take over the company. He had to pass all of the
That's
grades.
the 3rd grade.
Oh, what a glorious day.
So good.
You guys.
I love that movie.
Best in third
grade.
The
Can I
Billy
do
Madison
Just the
was
random penguin scenes in
Yeah,
there, like
so
just
good.
genius.
called the zoo.
This is KFAN
Please.
News with Chris Hockey.
Thank you.
Presented by the St. Paul Saints.
Hi, thank you to the St. Paul Saints, whom we love and are back home right now playing some baseball at the lovely CHS Field. The St. Paul Saints were unable to bounce back from a slow start during a 9-4 loss to the Scranton Rail Riders at CHS Field. Scranton, I wonder, is it Scranton, Pennsylvania, you think?
Probably.
It has to be, right? Anyway, the 56 and 64 Saints sends Louis Varland to the mound against Scranton tonight. So you can see Louis Varland pitch down in St. Paul tonight. Head on
cool.
down.
is Scranton,
Saints,
Pennsylvania.
saintsbaseball.com. Saintsbaseball.com.
And our friend Chef Reactions is throwing out the pitch. What in a couple days?
Tomorrow, I believe. Maybe it is tonight.
We should have
get
told
screwed
them the
up.
last time we were a part of somebody throwing out the first pitch, their house burned down.
Yeah,
so
good point.
Yeah.
I know somebody's watching Chef Reaction's grandmother while he's out and about at the Minnesota State Fair, but look out for the house. Maybe the arsonists are just waiting for you to throw a first pitch at a Saints game.
You know, it was a great show. House.
Yeah.
It's you,
That
Lori.
was a really good
Yeah.
show,
Best.
wasn't
Very,
it?
very
It was a
watchable.
really good show.
I don't think I ever saw an entire
I've
episode.
seen one episode.
There's one episode I remember very well. I swear to you, this is not joking.
I wonder
Before
what it's
forget, though,
related to.
I know, and you're right. I'm sorry. Do you want to hear the story, though?
Of course.
Of
Yes.
course.
Hey, Zach, real quick. Derek over at the Saints said that Terry Kaiser asked to please have his interview segment emailed to him.
Yes.
So would you remind me? One of us needs to send that to Derek so he can send it to Terry because
For sure.
he had fun with this. So that's cool, right?
It is cool. And I mean, he's got to distract himself from his house burning down.
Yeah, man.
You know,
Yeah.
somebody tried to kill Bernie.
I know.
Maybe.
Luckily, we saved him.
That doesn't
Yeah, we saved
happen on
him.
our watch.
No, it's an American treasure.
So this young boy and his mom come in, and he's having trouble. He's having trouble with the skin on his hand, and it's all red and splotchy and rough. And he can, I swear to God, this is.
Yep.
I swear to God, do you remember what I'm talking
I know
about?
what you're talking about.
Yeah. And he can't hardly bend his fingers, and it looks like a skin infection. And she's like, I don't know. And the little boy's like, I don't know what's going on. What's wrong? And basically, House looks at his hand and he goes, "Do you guys have any neighbors? You know, with a pool or something like that?"
Well, yeah, the boy was. They thought it was the pool.
Oh, that's right, that's what it was, yeah.
that was causing the skin reaction. Then House goes, it's actually the neighbor's daughter or the wife.
So the little boy had hurt his hand from touchy selfie too much because
It
he
was
looking
the
at the neighbor
lotion.
girl. That's right, the
It
lotion.
was the mom's
That's
lotion.
It.
He was allergic to
That's
whatever.
right.
And by the way, this boy is wearing glasses. And he's in there with his mom. And so he meant, the house basically reveals that's from him, touching himself or whatever. And so as he's leaving, he goes, "Too late to do anything about the site, though."
Yeah, that's right. See, boy, he remembers it like he saw it yesterday.
I love that show.
Oh, man, that was a great show.
Yes.
I bet you're right. I bet it still holds up. I bet it's still good these days.
There's some really good. The line with what's his name, Omar Epps, and how he looks like Mike Tomlin, and there was a line where he basically, I feel like a football coach, not as much as you though, because they literally reference the fact that
he looks like Mike Tomlin.
Yeah.
It was a bit on the show for a long time.
So good.
Yeah. The FAA is ordering the inspections of hundreds of Boeing 787 Dreamliners after a flight last March took a sudden dive that injured like 50 people. The Chilean flight plunged after a seat flew forward and knocked out the autopilot. What?
Gee.
At least 4 similar issues have been reported since. The inspections must be completed by next month. So apparently it was going on autopilot and something knocked it off autopilot and bam, they were plunging.
Pilot got up out of his chair. And
Yeah, probably.
Gotta blow it back up.
Yeah, man. That's right.
Brilliant.
That's right. A federal judge is blocking a ban on non-compete agreements that was set to take effect next month. The Federal Trade Commission this year banned most non-compete agreements, which keep employees from leaving their jobs to work for a competitor. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce and other groups sued, arguing the ban would make it harder for companies to retain talent. So what? Pay us more. Jerky joikes.
yeah.
That's not in the news story. That was.
Oh.
Oh. Well, I liked it.
Thank you. A district judge in Texas agreed on, of course, on Tuesday. An FTC spokesperson said the agency is strongly considering appeal. Well, you better, because I already got some stuff in the works.
Thank you for your honesty.
You're welcome. What's up, everybody? Las Vegas is on pace for its hottest year in recorded history.
Hey, great.
This month, by the way, Craig Gass, who should be here anytime, he has a house in Vegas and one in New York. I can't wait to talk to him about this. He just pulled up. Hey, Zacko, would you go down and get him, please?
Yep.
Anyway,
Zacko.
months of June and July set new records for the highest average daily temperature by several degrees. The National Weather Service says August is on track to do the same. As of Monday, Las Vegas has had 68 days at 105 or hotter.
Oh my God.
Well, I know you guys have been to the Middle East, but
Yeah.
man, that day that a couple days that I was in Vegas where it was in the high 110s and then it topped out at 120.
Yeah.
And they said it was the record for Vegas or whatever. It was unbearable.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I'm not a kind of guy that goes outside a ton anyway. But I like to do my Vegas walks when it's morning or night and not 120. 30 seconds outside when it was 120, and I'm like, I can't do this. So I ducked into the closest casino, got a little air conditioning, and then made the trek right back to my own casino and never left again.
Yeah.
It was brutal.
Yeah,
that
that
sounds
was
brutal.
That was Kuwait. That was unbelievable.
I know it, man. And we wore shorts and T-shirts, and we were surrounded by guys in fatigues.
And working out and running around
right,
in it. That was unbelievable.
I know it.
How do you get used to it? I don't understand that.
Don't know, man. I don't know, but obviously people do.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's see, what else did I have? Oh, Waymo cars may be driverless, but they are not noiseless. A company executive is apologizing for Waymo cars honking in the middle of the night in a San Francisco parking lot. Yesterday, the executive said in a live stream run, the parking lot, I should say the honking is a safety feature so the cars don't hit each other. But apparently in the middle of the night, they just start honking at each other. It's like dogs barking in the middle of the night.
What if they're talking to each other?
Yeah.
Right?
What if
I
that's
hate my life.
Run me off the road.
Go on.
Take me over a cliff.
And they're talking to other
Hopefully,
cars.
hopefully blind people drive me later.
You know, these are driverless cars. So
That's what they kind of
so
like.
they could drive themselves off a cliff.
Right.
Scratch the last part.
Like the
We
bumper.
should hit head on. Be like two cars kissing. We should drive on the other side of the road. I hate myself.
If all the cars are driving themselves, they're driverless cars, and they're all on the other side of the road, though, wouldn't they just?
on the other side of the road. Everything's fine.
Yeah, everything's fine.
I didn't really get
The
concept.
driving part was really the difference,
Yeah.
right? They're not just cars that can talk and honk. They drive themselves.
Oh,
I do love the idea that they're like dogs out there talking to each other in the middle of the night in the
Yeah.
parking lot.
yeah.
I don't know what Waymo is, though. It must be obviously like some kind of new service going on there. Because I know they always test those things in like San Francisco and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, man. That's the future right there. I'll tell you what. I can't imagine. I still can't imagine the idea of getting into an Uber without a driver. But
Well, who is it? Is it Corey Provis? Who's the one who's
Provis.
Somebody's tweeted videos of themselves in driverless cars.
Yeah.
And
Provis,
man, I don't.
That would be very uncomfortable.
It'd be weird, but it's the future.
I'm just convinced in 20 years we're all going to say, you remember when we were nervous to get in driverless cars? Because it's going to be so secondhand. It's going to be so common and awesome.
Well, I mean, going back a couple of news stories, we've all been riding in driverless planes apparently for quite some time.
Yeah, that's exactly what's been saying that.
But there's somebody up there just in case, I guess. You know,
Right.
That's the difference.
Yep. All right. Hey, Craig Gass is in the
He's
building.
here. All
We'll talk to Craig after this. This is the Power Trip Morning Show on The Fan.
This is, by the way, Dreams Aside, and the song is Waiting. Well done, y'all. Tom.
Celebrate 30 years of Weezer's iconic Blue album when they take over the XL Energy Center on Wednesday, September 4th. Hear all of their iconic hits when they play their debut album in full, alongside special guests The Flaming Lips and Dinosaur Jr. Tickets are still available for this can't miss show, but you can get yours right now at KFAN.com keyword calendar. Also, caller 13 at 1-800-320-5326 will win a pair of tickets. So good luck.
Yeah, good luck to you. Thanks, Zacho. Power Trip Morning Show. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our little stupid show. It's the 21st of August? Over there you got Misos Paul Lambert.
Hi.
Corey Cove. Rosie will be here momentarily. Parrish came over here with me. Zacho's in his little studio. Cast of Thousands. And Craig Gass, comedian extraordinaire, is with us. Good morning, Mr. Gass. How the hell are you?
Doing great. I'm excited to be back. Man, it's been a while. We got a lot to catch up on. I brought hockey with me down to the Metallica show on Sunday.
Yeah, dude.
And have you talked about that on the air yet?
Oh, quite a bit. Quite a bit. Yeah. Yeah, it was the best, dude. Thank you. That was so much fun, man.
Hockey's a rock star.
Yeah.
Like people, like for real. Like, dude. Like he's like it was a meet and greet. I invited hockey to a meet and greet.
Yeah.
His own meet and greet.
Well, I'm telling you, man, I can't thank you enough. And again, Sarah Jane's birthday's coming up, and that's Metallica's her favorite band of all time. And so being able to stand inside there, what a great stage, man. I still can't get over how well done that whole thing was. And to go from seeing it and hearing a podcast about it a year and a half ago to actually seeing it in person, and how the drum sets come up out of the stage so they can move around the stage. So there's literally not a bad seat in the house. Yeah. The band sounded great. The sound inside the pit was fantastic. Everything about it. Five Finger Death Punch were great. It was just a fantastic night. So thanks, man.
Yeah, it was nuts. It was just that show, that band. I've been getting in trouble. I've only been here for like a few days, and there's been some problems with the day that I got in. I opened a surprise show for Pantera at First Avenue, and when I went out on stage, and I've done this a few times. I've done stand-up comedy opening for Metallica, System of a Down, Alice in Chains brought me on tour to do a full thing, and the first time I ever did it, it was opening for Metallica, and I was so excited to be the guy that was going to like join the cool kids, you know?
Yeah.
And then I get to the venue, and I'm like, oh my God, dude, everybody here's on coke. Like, what am I doing? Like, it just hits me like, this is a terrible idea. Like, everybody's hammered, and they're all screaming and cheering, and they're waiting for Metallica, and then I'm going to be this surprise guest that comes up, and Lars Ulrich, the drummer of the band, was like, dude, you're overthinking it. Come on, man. It's just rock and roll. And I said, it's not rock and roll for me. I'm doing stand-up comedy. And Lars had an idea where he said, dude, how about I just come out on stage and I'll say, hey, Metallica's about to kick your ass in about 10, 15 minutes. But first, I want to bring a good friend of mine to come up and tell you some jokes. And I was like, are you crazy? That's the worst intro I've ever heard of. I'm going to get murdered by people. And he's like, dude, you're overthinking it. And I said, no, just no intro. I'll just walk out on stage. And in that moment of fear, I just thought, I'm going to walk on stage and just say, hey, my name's Craig. I'm the band's tour manager. And everyone goes, yeah. And I said, the band asked me to come out here and make a couple of announcements about tonight's show. You may have heard some rumors, and it's true. We are recording our first ever live album right here. So I need your attention. There's a proper way to yell on a live album, so we need to rehearse this. And they followed every stupid instruction I gave them.
Brilliant.
And I repeated that over and over again. It's a perfect way to get people to listen so you can tell some jokes. And I did that at First Avenue on Thursday. They did a surprise show from the band Pantera. And then I was the surprise opening act. And I walked out and said, hey, my name is Craig. I work for the band. Yeah. The band had some announcements. And then at the very end, I said, I'm actually a comedian. You've heard me on Family Guy and the Howard Stern show. And I told a few jokes and I walked off stage. There are multiple music websites right now that are reporting Pantera has just recorded a live album in Minneapolis. And people are getting upset about the employee and whether or not he was being honest about that, like whether or not. And the cool thing is I've actually started jumping in and commenting on those pages and saying, yeah, that employee was a dick. So I've started bagging on myself on the comment sections of all these things. And I'm like, there were so many clues. Like, in the comment sections, I've been writing, like, yeah, why did the employee bring up the size of Zach Wilde's genitalia? What does that have to do with, like, yeah. So, dude.
I mean, everywhere we went, somebody would stop and go, dude. Because they were like, everybody's kind of like, they're expecting there to be a live album. And you were like, no, I told them they should have known. I basically said I was a comedian.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny, man. That's good. And it's on Livewire right now. Loudwire, whatever it is, the heavy metal site. I just saw it a moment ago. It's still up on their site.
Yeah, it's being reported by all these hard rock websites, and it was just a goof, man. And it's but when Chris and I were hanging out the other night, we were just like, there were some stories that popped up, and he was like, "What?" And I go, "Well," and I didn't want to like finish a story.
Yeah,
don't you do that like when to save it for the air?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah,
and
life is show prep, man.
By the way, the drummer in Metallica, I do want to make a side note. You guys already know this, that I'm a comedian who does voices. I've always been able to do any voice that I hear because I grew up in a deaf family. My mom, my dad, and my sister are all completely deaf. That night when I opened for Metallica, Lars brings me into the dressing room and he goes, dude, come on in. Let's meet the guys, huh? And he goes, hey, guys, this is Craig. This is the guy who does all the voices. And check it out. His whole family is retarded. I go, they're not retarded. They're deaf. What do you do? Like, you're messing my story up. But yeah. There was one story that came up when I was talking to Chris about George Carlin. George was my mentor when I first started doing stand-up. And Chris is a huge George Carlin fan?
Those two, Corey and
I worship that dude. Yeah.
Back here,
Chris
too.
Parrish, too.
Worship
that guy.
Yeah.
Obsessed.
And we never talked about George at all?
No.
He's just, to just paint the picture, the guy really wanted to help me with my career, but I was so intimidated by him that I just wanted the friendship. And this is really creepy, I saved all my answering machine tapes. This is back when you would have answering machine tapes.
I don't think that's creepy at all.
Yeah,
Dude's a
no,
legend.
that's
George
smart.
Carlin.
No.
Yeah, he left long, funny messages on my answering machine, and I saved all the tapes for that. And I used to have a pen pal when I was a kid, and we lost touch when I moved to Seattle and started doing stand-up. And I didn't talk to her for a couple of years. And she found me one day. The phone rang and I picked up and she said, Craig, it's Lisa. And I was like, what? How'd you find me? And she goes, well, there's this crazy story. I know that the last time I talked to you, you said that you had become friends with George Carlin and that he was helping you with your career. George Carlin did a show here in Miami, and I went to the show with my girlfriend, and I wrote a note and handed it to a security guard and said, can you please hand this to George Carlin? And he did. Dude, that is such a long shot.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Right.
That a security guard would do that. So the security guard goes backstage, hands it to George Carlin. George Carlin reads the note, pops his head out of the dressing room, and he goes, "Hey, he goes, who wrote this note? Grab them and whoever they're with, bring them backstage." And the note says, "Hi, George. You and I have a mutual friend. My name's Lisa, and we are friends with Craig Gass. Him and I are friends, but we've lost touch. I don't know where he's at. Can you please tell him I'm trying to find him?"
Wow.
So he tells the security guard, "Go back and get her and bring her backstage." And she goes, "I go backstage," and he's like, "Hey, I've been, I don't have my phone numbers here, but I can tell you that Craig's getting thrown out of a lot of comedy clubs, but he seems to enjoy that. He seems to get a kick out of that. But he's doing okay, and blah, blah, blah." And I was like, wow, so wait a minute, how'd you get my number if he didn't have his phone numbers? And she goes, "Well, that's the other side of the story. Listen to this." And she puts her phone up to her answering machine, and you hear, boop. "Hey, Lisa, it's George Carlin. Listen, I met you in Miami last week. I'm home now, and I got my phone numbers out. And this a-hole moves a lot, so..." And he just rattled off all the phone numbers, and she started calling the numbers.
Wow.
But he actually called her back to follow up. And I was telling Chris I did a show with Kevin Smith years ago in Toronto, and Kevin Smith was telling me about how he pitched the idea to George to be a priest in Dogma.
Brilliant.
And George was like, "I really want to do that." He goes, "There's just one thing I want to talk to you about." He said, "My wife, she passed away a couple years ago, and I don't want to take off my wedding ring.
Yeah.
And I know as a priest, I'm not supposed to have a wedding ring." And he's like, I just don't want to take this off. That was his only concern.
Wow.
Is he never wanted to remove his wedding ring. And dude, that guy, he was married to this woman, Brenda, for I want to say it was almost 40 years. And when Brenda passed away, I tried to reach out to him to see if he was doing okay. I talked to Dennis Blair, who was his opening act, who actually introduced me to George years ago. And I asked him, "How is George doing?" And Dennis said, "He's doing okay. I went to his house last night after we heard that Brenda had passed, and George Carlin's daughter answered the door, and she brought George out. George talked for a minute. He said, 'Listen, I'm really exhausted. I got to go to bed, but please, I'll call you guys tomorrow.'" And Dennis said, "Me and my wife both saw this. George Carlin started walking down the hallway to his bedroom, and Brenda, his wife, collected stuffed animals for years. It was her hobby. And there were stuffed animals all over the house. And Dennis Blair said, we saw George walking down the hallway. He opened the door to his bedroom, and my wife and I could both see this. We could both see inside George's bedroom. George had taken all of Brenda's stuffed animals and had put them all in his bed. And he was sleeping with all the stuffed animals."
Wow.
By the way, this is a terrible time to mention this, but I'm performing in New Hope at the New Hope Cinema Grill.
It's called No Hope in New Hope.
I think I actually just triggered many refunds for the show.
Yeah, tonight, tomorrow, Saturday, and 4 days in a row. So tonight, today's Wednesday.
Today's Wednesday.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So you're at the New Hope Cinema. Click to buy tickets. Go to getgas.com with 2 S's. Getgas.com. That guy to your left there, you may remember. That is
I do.
Mark Rosen.
I am so
He's the
happy to
legend.
see you, and I didn't realize it was in the presence of
Gene Simmons.
Gene Simmons
From Kiss.
and Christopher Walken, my favorite Christopher Walken impression.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Dude, Christopher Walken. Did I ever tell you that story that Kamal told me from the Jerky Boys about Christopher Walken and his buddy that ran into Christopher Walken and Walken was in a bad mood?
I think you did, but I'd love to hear it again after the break.
Okay, after
Tell
the
us
break.
again.
I got Walken stories. Cinemagrill.com.
Cinemagrill.com.
More with Craig Gass after this. Rosie is here. Parrish is here. This is the Power Trip Morning Show on The Fan.
The Fan.
Comedian Nate Bargatze is set to hit the stage at the State Fair Grandstand this Saturday night following the Power Trip broadcast, and they've got one of your final chances to win tickets right now. Caller 11 at 1-800-320-5326 will win tickets to the show, plus State Fair admission tickets. Good luck.
We were just explaining to Craig Gass how big the Minnesota State Fair is. It's kind of insane over the next couple of weeks here in the Twin Cities. It takes over. Hawk mostly hates it. Sauce, you and I freaking love it.
Yeah, I love it, yeah.
Parrish, you like it.
Yeah, oh yeah, the family, we love it. It's, go there and eat as much as possible. It's guilt-free, binging.
Yeah, Rosie, you hate it.
No, I don't hate it now. I hated it when I had to stay out there all night to do the TV bit, but then I was there from like 1 o'clock in the afternoon till 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah, that's cheese curd time.
No, actually, that was the best
roasted corn.
best time of night of the day at the State Fair is about dusk. It really is.
When the crowds start to
thin out a little bit,
thin out and go home.
Night air. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
it's all right.
You know what else is crazy is those comedy shows going on in New Hope.
That's just crazy. See, but that's the thing.
That's close.
See, Craig, if you don't want to deal with the hustle and bustle of like the giant grandstand shows, you can go to the State Fair all day, tap out around 4 or 5, and then still get to New Hope Cinema Grill.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you can do both.
And that guy tells like super sad stories, like
about stuffed animals.
Man, that's the best way I've ever heard.
George Carlin is the all-timer, so the fact that he had interest in you and wanted to mentor you and helped out pen pals of yours, that still blows my mind. Amazing. It's super cool, man.
Can I tell another sad story?
Oh, great.
We love them,
All right, here's another one. This actually has a connection here to St. Paul. So I had did I ever tell you the Mike McCready story?
No, I don't think so.
So
from Pearl Jam, obviously.
Yep.
A friend of mine plays guitar for the band Pearl Jam, and he's actually on my last comedy special. I did a comedy special where I had Mike show up just to show me how much better his life is than mine, and it plays really well. So Mike. This is Craig Gass, by the way. I'm a stand-up comedian, usually funny.
That's right.
And but this is not going to be funny. This is actually going to be the least funny story you've ever heard.
Oh, great!
But it's a great story. Years ago, I am. Do you guys get excited when you get recognized? Is that fun?
Heck yeah, you kidding? Why do you think I do this?
Right.
Because
98% of the time it is.
Yeah, because I have friends who are really successful who go out of their way to not get recognized from people. But I'm the kind of person that when someone comes up and like, dude, were you the guy from that TV show? I go, yeah, what's up, dude? I'll get really excited, and I actually get so excited that I will talk to people until they get to the point where they're like,
okay, enough.
We got to go. And I'm like, where are you going? I'll come with you. Let's do this. I get super stoked. So years ago, this woman comes up to me at a restaurant and says, hey, I'm sorry to bother you. My husband is a huge fan of yours, and he's too nervous to come say hello to you. And I go, well, where's he at? Let's go say hi to him. And then we walked over, and she goes, hey, this is my husband, Bob. And I go, what's up, Bob? I'm Craig Gass. And he was like, oh, man, I'm such a huge fan of yours. He is hands down sweetest guy I've ever met in my life. This dude has some health problems. He's a special ed teacher, and his health problems. He's morbidly obese, so he's had all kinds of problems, including at one point he actually was in a coma. That they were explaining to me what happened in that situation, and while he was in a coma, his wife. He said, my wife would come in with a boombox, and she actually started playing music for me while I was in the coma. And she started playing his favorite band of all time. And he had a physical reaction in a coma. He had tears coming down his face when she would play his favorite band. And I was like, really? Who's your favorite band? And he goes, Pearl Jam. And I go, Pearl Jam is your favorite band? And he goes, oh, dude. He's like, yeah, I know you're friends with them. And yeah, I just love those guys. And I was blown away. The next time I see Mike, I tell him, hey, did I tell you, cause this guy, he had so many health problems that, we actually stayed in touch. We exchanged phone numbers, and every time I would come to Vegas where he lived, I would call him up and take him out to dinner. And then I started getting concerned about his health and saying, hey man, do you ever go for walks and all? Do you do anything to help yourself out? And he's like, oh yeah, I want to, but it's really hard with my schedule. And I said, well, like 20 minutes, you can't walk for 20 minutes. And it started to get to a point where it got weird, where his wife would go, he's really tired when he gets home. He's picking up kids all day. And I go, but for 20 minutes, you can't walk for 20 minutes. So I looked at him and I said, Bob, I'll call. How about if I go for walks with you? Like if I call you, I can give you a call every day and we can go for a walk. And he said, you would do that? And I go, yeah, dude. I mean, look at me. I need to go for a walk, man. I'll give you a call. So that Sunday, I called him up and we started going for a walk every day. And it started out with 20 minutes. And then we started doing 30 minutes every day. And then after a while, it was shocking how easy this is, by the way.
I'm waiting for the joke here.
A little bit of exercise.
This is going to be funny. I know. I feel it.
No joke coming.
I knew it.
And then, so we go for a walk every day. So the next time I see Mike, I go, hey, Mike, did I tell you that I have a walking buddy? And he goes, you have a walking buddy? And I go, well, it's very heterosexual. It's I have this buddy of mine that this actually happened here in St. Paul. I did shows at New Hope Cinema Grill, and I timed it so I could be here for the Pearl Jam shows. And Mike came out to my shows in New Hope, and then I went to his show the next day in a much bigger room. And and after sound check, I told him about my buddy Bob, and I said, yeah, this guy, we go for walks every day. Dude, this guy is like the nicest guy I've ever met, and he's a special ed teacher. This guy was in a coma, and while he was in a coma, his wife played your music, and he had a physical reaction. He had tears coming down his face. And, dude, I would never ask this, ever. But the guy lives in Vegas. The next time he perform in Vegas, would it be okay if I sent him to your show to meet you? And he goes, yeah, that's fine. We could do that. And he goes, and then he started making jokes. He's like, maybe we'll have the whole band take him for a walk around the building or something. And then I go for walks every day with Bob, and he, from time to time, will bring up Pearl Jam and go like, man, did you see Pearl Jam's going on tour? And I go, oh, dude, you're not getting those tickets, dude. Those are hard. You can't get into that. And I was like, I'm setting up this thing. I'm going to blow his mind. This is going to be the coolest thing ever. And he ends up having another health complication. His wife calls me up one day and says, hey, where are you at right now? And I just landed in LA. And she goes, Bob had a medical issue. He's septic, and he has 72 hours, and he's going to die. And I didn't know what to say to that, and I hung up the phone. I had just landed in LA, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go straight to Vegas. I grabbed my bags, I got in my car, and I started driving to Vegas. And it hit me that I never had that chance to get Bob to meet his favorite band. And as I'm driving to Vegas, I text Mike and I go, hey, Mike, I don't know if you remember that you said you would meet a friend of mine who's my walking buddy. He has 72 hours to live. He's dying. And but I want to tell you what he would have said to you, because he talked about you every day. So I started writing a fan letter to my buddy Mike. And he writes me back and says, what's his name? And I said, it's Bob. It's Bob Miles. And 30 minutes later, he sends me a video. And I'm driving, and I open up the video, and this is what I hear.
Hey, Bob Miles, this is Mike McCready. I got a message from my dear friend Craig Gass, and I want to send you something I'm writing for you right now. So hopefully this helps you in your journey.
He had a guitar, and he wrote music for Bob. And he sent me multiple videos of him playing guitar for Bob. I'm driving to Vegas, and I just started bawling.
Wow.
I called Bob's wife, and I said, hey, how is Bob doing? Is he doing okay? And she goes, well, he's in and out. And I said, okay, I'm on my way to Vegas. Tell him I'm coming to his bedside, and I'm going to be there to hang out with him. But please, I'm sending you some videos. You have to show him this video. Mike McCready from Pearl Jam just wrote some music for him. And I sent her the videos, and she said that he actually sat up in bed, looked at the videos, and he was crying so much he was holding his eyelids to try to watch. And
wow,
that's crazy.
That's amazing.
the last thing Bob Miles saw was his favorite guitar player of his favorite band writing music for him. I'm performing at New Hope Cinema Grill.
Amazing.
You know how to bring up a room.
Cinemagrill.com. The most depressing stories you'll ever hear in your life.
Great
That's
story,
amazing,
though.
Yeah.
I swear to God, from this point forward, I've got so many jokes for you. So many jokes.
Before we get to those jokes,
Time for Fan 5 on the Power Trip, presented by All Around Property
give us
Preservation.
that twin score real quick, if you would, please.
The Minnesota Twins lost 7-5 to the Padres last night for the third straight loss. The Twins were up 3-1 in the seventh when the bullpen collapsed. Manny Machado hit a 2-run blast to make it 3-3. The Twins got 2 back in the eighth. But then the Dads hit a 3-run blast to make it 6-5. Then they won 7-5 in the final. The Twins are 70-56. They will battle the Dads tonight at 5:40 in the final game of the series. Simeon Woods Richardson goes for the Twins. And that's Twins News brought to you by Quantum Fiber.
It's really exciting stuff.
Oh,
There you go.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
sounds like it.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Good. All right, good. And?
the Vikings play their final preseason game on Saturday at noon in Philly. Pregame at 10. The Eagles are a 1-point favorite. The Vikings open their season 2 weeks from Sunday, Hogs Daddy,
we're talking.
in New
Let's
York
go.
Let's
against
go.
the Giants. Game time is noon, pregame at 10, Rosie.
You think the Giants will still be favored in that game? Slight?
Maybe.
Maybe because, I don't know. They shouldn't be. They suck.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So again, Saturday, pregame at 10, final preseason game at noon against the Eagles, and then fan line afterwards, somewhere in that 3 to 5 range, and then Power Trip live at the State Fair 5 to 7. Come out and see us 5 to 7
Come on,
this
hang out.
Saturday.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on now. I got to be there. You do too.
With chef reactions at 6.
Toasty day. Yes. I was looking up chef reactions even more and more and more yesterday.
Dude's a
after
killer.
last-
I love that guy.
Yeah.
It was,
so
I
funny.
asked my son about him. Everybody, well, we know about that guy. Yeah, he's going to come on their show.
Blowing up.
He was on our show.
He's coming on this show?
He was on
He was on
yesterday, but he's going to be
yesterday,
at the State Fair with us
actually
on
coming
Saturday.
to the fair to taste the food
Yeah.
and give us immediate reactions, so it should be classic.
Wow.
So before we get a break, though, you promised a Christopher Walken story that would make Rosie's day.
Yeah.
So my friend Kamal from the Jerky Boys, by the way, from now on, this is going to be funny. All right. My buddy Kamal from the Jerky Boys had the greatest Christopher Walken story about how he has a buddy who's like, he's an actor. He's like a Hollywood wannabe guy. He's always, he does a lot of extra work, but he refers to himself as a background actor when he introduces himself to people. And he found out somehow through the grapevine that he calls up Kamal and goes, dude, I just found out that on Tuesday nights, there's a bar on 26th Street that apparently it's like a scene on Tuesday. It's all these casting directors and like actors and stuff. Why don't we go down on Tuesday night? I'll bring my demo reel and we'll schmooze, you know? And Kamal thinks the guy's a joke and he goes, yeah, we'll go. This, by the way, was in the 90s when this happened. Kamal told me this in 2000. It was already a 10-year-old story. They go to this bar on 26th Street on Tuesday night. And when they walk up, laying on the ground in front of the bar with a bloody mouth is Christopher Walken.
What?
And they walk up, and Kamal's buddy walks up to Christopher Walken and goes, oh, my God, Chris, are you okay? Oh, my God. Hey, I'm Jeff. I'm an actor. Hey, listen, I don't know. Do you remember a girl named Kelly? Do you know Kelly? She used to work in craft services. That's my sister. And he said, Christopher Walken gets up and starts picking up the blood off his mouth, and he goes, what's your name? This is Jeff. Jeff, I want you to turn around. And I want you to get out of my face. Or I'm going to make sure you disappear. And nobody's ever going to see your face again. And this guy, Jeff, goes, okay, can I give you my acting reel? No, okay. Like, all the way to the end. He still tried to get that little moment with Walken when he walked away. And then I know I've told this story before, but I had dinner with Christopher Walken, and he hated me because another comedian, Richard Belzer, kept trying to get me to do my Christopher Walken impression for Christopher Walken. And Belzer was like, you got to hear this guy do his. And Walken was in a bad mood. And he threw his utensils on the table and said, go ahead. And I was like, all right, I don't know if this sounds like you or not, but every once in a while, I say the word cowbell. And then I try to sound weird. Pow. And Walken just went, Wow. And then he went back to eating his food. And I was like, oh, man, this guy hates me. Yeah. Belzer kept trying to have me do more impressions. He goes, wait a minute. You ever heard somebody do Morgan Freeman? You ever heard somebody do Sam? And I'm going through all these voices, and Walken just went, listen, I get it. You're talented. Good for you. And I was like, cinemagrill.com. That's right. Cinemagrill.com.
Tomorrow at 7, then 2 shows Friday, 2 shows on Saturday.
That's
Craig
correct.
Gass.
6 shows, New Hope.
Cinemagrill.com. Cinemagrill.com.
All right, 8 o'clock hour of the Power Trip Morning Show. Craig Gass continues. Mark Rosen is here. Mark Parrish is here. We'll do Fan 5 in a second. Headlines later. Lots to get to between now and 9 on The Fan.